program contains material that may be too intense for some viewers. Parental discretion is advised.
Welcome to Nerds from the Crypt. I'm your host, Eli Grimes. This week I'm joined with my very good friend and member of the Jumping Shark Show, Ira Williams. Hello. How you doing? So I asked him to watch Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. I forgot how bad this episode was. We'll get into it, and this was something like, okay, a little background on me. This is only the second episode of the show, but I've probably told you before, but I'm a big fan of Tales from the Crypt, and I've now started making my friends watch episodes and talk with me about them, because they all remember. We're all about the same age, and we remember the show. This one is kind of famous to me. I think this is one that people remember, but I don't think they remember it as bad as this. This was a really, really bad episode.
I completely agree with that. I rewatched it again and forgot how bad it was.
Yeah,
I just watching. I'm like, there's things about the episode that are just technically bad to me.
Yeah. This was directed by Richard Donner. Just a little background on Richard Donner. He directed Superman with Christopher Reeve. He directed The Goonies. And he is responsible for the entire Lethal Weapon series. He's the director of all the Lethal Weapon movies. So, I mean, has a good body of work. He's done great things. And I think when they're making this episode, since it's in this Tales from the Crypt book I have, it says it's the first episode, even though it didn't air first. It airs second after The Man Who Was Death when this premiered on June 10th, 1989. And Tales from the Crypt was a new thing, but they were very passionate about making a comic book, a tribute to that, capturing the style of a comic book. And I think this episode tried that, the look of it. You think?
Yeah, I do.
You see what I'm saying with the transitions and the I don't know, the way they were trying to do it, but it was, oh my god.
I felt like it was very jump cutty. It was I wrote it basically as frenetically paced.
Yes.
It felt like when I was watching it, I was getting a little bit dizzy and nauseous at some of the transitions and some of the shots. And I mean, I thought possibly this is a mechanism that they're trying to use to get you to feel how he's feeling because he's about to die. But, but maybe
it's a runaway train. This episode just very off the rails from the beginning. It just starts that way. It felt just very uncomfortable. Some of the shots were, I don't know, just overwhelming with the way it was almost like fisheye from the very beginning when you see
That's a good way to describe
when they go.
Fisheye.
It just felt very fish, almost without quite doing that. So this episode stars Joey Pants. Joe Pantoliano is the main character. He plays Ulrich the Undying. Of course, you know him from Memento, The Matrix, Fugitive, Bad Boys. He's all over the place. Joey Pants has been working for years. I'm a big fan, and he's okay in this. It's not like this is his fault or anything. Also, the ringmaster guy that we were talking about, Robert Wuhl, he was Alexander Knox in Batman. Right? He's
He's
the
shifty
jerk,
reporter guy.
Shifty reporter,
yeah.
And of course he was in Arliss, which I never watched. I know of it, he won Emmys for that. It was very critically acclaimed, but I don't know a person who watched Arliss. Super Sports Agent, I don't know anyone who watched that fucking show. From the beginning, though, you can tell it feels like the first episode because the Crypt Keeper that just seems very introductory into the thing where he lights a candle and gets the book off the shelf and blows the dust off of it. Welcome to my crypt and all this. It just all felt to me like the beginning of this show. So I just don't remember. I watched this the original night it was on. I was 8 years old. What do I know? I don't remember it exactly.
That's exactly how I felt. Was rewatching something as an adult that you haven't visited in a long time. You start seeing different things and seeing things differently, and that's kind of why maybe I have now a more negative outlook on this episode. Whereas before I really loved it.
So it's we start with Ulrich is being lowered in a casket, or he's being put into a casket. He's going to die, and everybody's he's got a big following, and it's just from the beginning. Robert Wuhl is just right up in your face and talking to you, the audience. The whole thing's just breaking the fourth wall and just it's so fast. It's just slow down a little bit and tell me everything. And it's really calm when it's him in the casket because this whole episode is from his perspective,
right?
Talking to the audience and telling you his story, and you get basically the whole gimmick behind the deal is he is a bum who a German doctor finds a bum, says he's going to give him all his life savings if he lets him perform an experiment on him, and he's wasted, so he goes along with it. And he gives him a cat's gland that gives him 9 lives, is the basic premise of the thing. So once he gets to 9 lives, and then he says, how do I know if this worked? And he just pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head, which why in all movies do German people always have a Luger?
Oh, the Walter, yeah, the old.
They always have a Nazi gun. It doesn't like you live in America. Apparently, it's like you might have another gun,
from the old country.
I brought it with me. You know, was it his service revolver? Was he a Nazi? We don't know. It's just a very German gun.
And all of that stuff that you just kind of went over with him. Starting out as a bum, meeting the doctor, doesn't that all just happen so quickly and he just kind of goes with it?
Yeah.
Like, at no point does he question anything. It's like, hey, I want to stick this cat gland in you. He doesn't ask one question about it and go, maybe I should ask a few things about this crazy doctor who wants to
perform brain surgery on you, my man. And you're just like,
then,
cool.
Even after he tests does this actually work and shoots him in the face, at no point does he become perturbed by that. He's just like, well, he shot me in the face. I lived, whatever.
Also, what if you shot my face and like ruined my face by doing that? Like it seems very odd to me.
There's a couple parts in this whole episode where I feel the same way. It's like, how is he still just look the same? I get it that he can come back from it, but why is he not like on fire or a hole in his face? It doesn't make any sense.
But I think the doctor does say at one point you can regenerate. Like you regenerate in the It's just like he goes through all these different. And then the doctor says, well, the doctor's idea of like how to make money was really strange too, because he's just like, okay, we're gonna do this. I got this idea for you to be a sideshow freak, and we're gonna make money
because that's obviously like a gold mine of cash.
Yeah, of course. I just couldn't wait. I just could not wait to find someone willing to do this, so we can go on the carny circuit.
Take this show on the road. We're going to open for Springsteen, I guess.
Charge people for 2 bits of gander. And they didn't go straight to Vegas, which it seems like it would be a Vegas show.
No, it was like a backlot carny show. And
just like lame, like the whole thing. So, and also he just negotiates for Ulrich to do his first death in front of a crowd is him and getting drowned, and he meets a broad. This woman is the worst. She is just a high-pitch, oh my God, you want to go to dinner with me?
She's like Harley Quinn, but not attractive.
Not attractive. It doesn't work. This is just like... Now I see why you have to tone down Harley Quinn in the new movie coming out. Maybe she's a little bit toned down. We haven't seen what it's actually like yet. But maybe she's not quite as grating as she is in, like, say, the cartoon. Because this is bad. This is like this voice this woman uses. And this is Richard Donner, like, allowing her to do this. Like, oh, yeah, that's great. Every time I see something bad in a movie, I'm like, a director allowed you to make that choice. The director could have gone, I don't like this at all. Let's try something else. You're going to just kill the vibe of the whole fucking thing. So it was just, she's awful, but her and Ulrich have a thing going, and that's the new deal, whatever. So he drowns in front of an audience, and it takes a while for him to resurrect. He doesn't. I also never want to hear the word resurrection ever again.
Ever again, yeah.
They say it so many times in this, because that's his thing. Like when he comes back to life, they go, resurrection! 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 Resurrection, Doc! Resurrection! Get the fuck up, you folks! And her going, resurrection!
Oh, that was the worst. Yeah.
It's oh my God, it's awful.
Oh, it's awful.
So basically he just keeps doing different deaths. I got them all written down here. The doctor shot him. He drowns. He gets an arrow through the heart. He is hung. He gets electrocuted. His girlfriend kills him. He's buried at the end. And it's just, it goes on and on and on. And it just feels like I was waiting for this to be over. I was just like, please get through this. Like, I was making my notes and just going, I just want to finish this off. I don't really want to think about this one anymore because it's just not as good as I remembered it. And some things are better left in the past, and this one just does not hold up. I've heard people say that, like when I talk about Tales from the Crypt, they're like, it doesn't hold up. And I'm like, not every episode holds up. I wasn't going to make a show where I just come on and just blow every episode because eventually there's that final season that's all bad that I remember. The British season of Tales from the Crypt is just all terrible. There isn't a good one. But what positives did you get out of this episode? I thought Joey Pants was good.
Joey Pants is always great.
He's fine.
I don't think I can name a movie where I'm like, I just don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Some of the characters I don't like, but he's fantastic in it.
What else? Just other observations you got written down. I want to hear what you got here.
Well, so my biggest, like, I guess, complaint. I don't have a lot great to say about this episode.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is going to be one of those where we just kind of
It's
rip on it a bit.
awful.
And
awful.
I give them a free pass because it was the first season, and oftentimes the first season of shows are just bad.
Yeah. The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Not great.
But I really felt like because you have to spend X amount of time on 9 different deaths, you've already chewed up 2/3 of your episode in terms of content.
Yeah.
So what you really did is you eliminated the possibility of making any of those relationships that get severed meaningful. So, like, when he turns on the doctor and murders him...
Yeah, he turns on the doctor. We'll just get that out of the way. He turns on the doctor, kills him in a car crash. He'll die, but he'll come back to life. But the doctor will die just so he can cut him out of the business. He wants to make all the money because they have a partnership, and the doctor is trying to fund his research, which, I don't know, when you can give someone 9 lives, I feel like you don't need... a couple shows and you'd be done, like, enough to fund, because someone's going to want to invest in that. That's a major medical breakthrough.
Right, exactly. So it was...
Like, the army would be all over you.
Right. Oh, obviously.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, make super soldiers, like, yeah, the military implications. Like in every movie. It's like, we got to use this as a weapon.
Yeah,
This is awesome. So...
But did you not feel like when he turns on the doctor that I was like, you know, I mean, okay, fine.
Yeah, I wasn't attached. Like, there was no attachment there, and it was, you also just operated on a bum, so I wasn't, like, you know, which is irresponsible as can be. So
it was all very like, well, okay, fine, but that's the point, like, that's the twist point where he's gonna get his comeuppance at some point.
Because that's the thing. At first, he's just some guy that's trying to make a little money with his newfound thing. But as with every Tales from the Crypt, there's a twist. Yeah. There's a twist. Somebody does something rude, and then they're gonna get. Terrible, yeah. Just comeuppance.
Yeah.
So now he's a bad guy for doing that and greedy.
And then you kind of think he gets his comeuppance somewhat when the terrible girl turns on him and literally stabs him in the back by stabbing him in the back and murdering him, and she runs off with all the money. And it's still, you're just kind of like, Once again, I mean, I don't. Yeah. So you met some broad in a thing, and now she took all your money. I mean, it's like, okay, fine.
So it basically comes down to he's done all these shows, and he's, like, at the beginning we see him being lowered. This is his last death. He has 2 lives left. He'll get to live out his next one once he's buried and come back, and he's telling us his whole story. And so after all those deaths or whatever, he remembers the cat. The cat was dead on the table originally after the surgery.
Right, he's paying homage.
So you only actually get 8 lives, and he thinks he has 9 because that's the premise of the thing. Cat, 9 lives, whatever. And so... while he's being buried, that's their twist ending is, you know...
he's not going to come back.
He's not going to come back from this one. And that's a great piece of acting where, you know, I only have 8 left. I don't have a life left. And
if we're talking about things that are good in the episode, like, that whole part is really good.
Yeah.
So, like, that last scene is very well done where he's in the coffin. He's basically kind of giving a little bit of an homage to the cat and saying that poor kitty that's going to make me a whole bunch of money.
Yep.
That poor dead kitty, and that's when he realizes the cat had to die to give him the life, so he only had 8.
It's a good twist. It's a great twist. It's
that's fantastic.
That part's good. It works, and that's good. The cat on the grave, whatever, at the end, the black cat that shows up, whatever, the whole thing, then the candle blowing out. And that's how it ends. Him screaming in the coffin, and the candle blows out. So whatever, and that's how it ends. But I could not wait until this was over, and so that part I like. You get to the good part. To me, is him in the coffin because it's the only time it's slow. Yeah, like, it's just him talking real, you know, gingerly. When they dig me up, I'll be dead, but I won't stay that way. Here's my tale. That kind of thing. So it's like, it's weird when you do something like this because the Crypt Keeper is telling you a story in which another guy tells you the story. I also thought that was really strange because that's just the way it went. But
some sort of Inception narration.
Yes, it's like, who's telling what? I don't understand. It's all a TV show. Whatever. The police chief from Lethal Weapon makes a cameo when the guy shoots him through the heart, like him and his son. He's like, "Come on, Junior, step up," and whatever. And the kid is Donkey Lips from Salute Your Shorts. But the other guy is in all the Lethal Weapons. He's the one that's always like, "Give me your guns and badges." He's that guy. You know what I mean? So he's always that. I don't know his name. I didn't look it up or whatever. So would you recommend this episode to someone? Would you say, "Oh, you got to watch that one"?
I would say yes because it's iconic. Yes, yeah. You have to grind through the poor parts of it.
Yeah.
I personally think like this works so much better as a movie. If you stretch this out and had more time to develop all of it,
maybe, I could see that.
I think you have enough content there to make that 90 minutes, and I think that's why this episode just feels so compressed and like rushed.
Yeah, they just tried to throw in the kitchen sink, just throw it all in there. It's just that kind of thing. So for me, it's a thumbs down or whatever. Well, I haven't come up with a rating system yet. Like, what do we think of this thing? I'll just put it on the screen now, I guess. Like, it's a thumbs down for me, but I wouldn't tell anyone to watch this. Like, I don't know. After watching it again,
I'm gonna give it the old no with a yesy aftertaste.
You're against it.
Against it.
Well, thanks for listening to this episode of Nerds from the Crypt, and we really appreciate it. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Nerds from the Crypt. Also on Twitter at Crypt Nerds. So, yeah. Thanks for listening.